campaigns at every level have been upended by the coronavirus and all the resulting stay-at-home orders. Just a few examples that I've been involved with. I'm helping a U.S. House candidate who had shot his first television ad in early March, planning on a mid-April release or something like that. And of course, in the meantime, the entire world shut down. And suddenly, not only was the message of the ad inappropriate and off-key, because at that point, the virus was the only thing people cared about, but also the imagery of the candidate surrounded by people was risky, because that sort of behavior was unacceptable in a world of social distancing. So we had to recalibrate and shoot an all new ad. It was all about the economic impact of the virus, and it was shot on a cell phone. And we think it was probably the first ever campaign ad that was shot as a selfie video. So that's one example. Another example, a U.S. Senate race I was helping had a threshold of 10,000 signatures in order to qualify for the ballot. And then within a couple of weeks of the candidate getting into the race, you couldn't go out and collect signatures anymore because of the face-to-face interactions that required. And yet actually ultimately had to take our case challenging ballot access requirements to the state Supreme Court to get the threshold reduced and to allow electronic signatures. So that's another example. That requirement nearly cost the candidate an opportunity to run. And in sort of broadly speaking, fundraising, I think, for everybody, but especially for challenger candidates who don't have the benefit of incumbency, who don't have a broad, political money network, are running into a lot of trouble. So that's a problem for everybody. So campaigns are having to rely more on digital tactics, not unlike the sort of panel or meeting that we're having here now over Zoom. A lot of candidates are doing Zoom meetings with supporters, or the sort of meet and greets that they would usually have in somebody's home if they've gone online. And in many respects, I think a lot of campaigns won't even have brick and mortar headquarters this cycle for smaller campaigns especially, and they'll be making field offices out of the local Starbucks. So that gets you sort of to the larger point of your conference, is that campaigns need to be very sensitive to the risks of doing business online, including but not limited to foreign actors who attempt to infiltrate campaigns, steal information, throw our electoral system really into chaos, and ultimately the end goal being to compromise confidence in our democratic institutions, which over time becomes an existential threat to the nation. And we may have thought that we were beyond all of this coming out of the 2016 election with all of the controversy that it caused. But as early as just I think last week, it was reported that China and Iran were attempting to hack into the Trump and Biden presidential campaigns. So this is going on as a routine. It's not going away, and so campaigns need to be very sensitive to it. They need to practice the best digital techniques and practices, making sure that they have good password hygiene, that they have things in place to protect their data, that they're using email encryption and two-factor authentication. I'm sure a lot of the sort of what you might consider buzzwords, but are really important in protecting campaigns. And as Aaron mentioned, campaigns are beasts that grow in some cases very quickly, and there's a lot of turnover. And so getting your staff trained up at the beginning of a campaign isn't enough. So you may start off with 5 or 10 people if you're running a U.S. Senate race a year out from the election, and by election day on a big campaign, you've got 50 full-time staffers. And so there needs to be a constant churning of reminders and training so that staff understands what's at stake and how to use these best practices. And another outfit, I guess I would point you to, that's providing some of these services whether it's training or actual products, largely pro bono for campaigns that sort of meet their credentials, is an outfit called Defending Digital Campaigns. It was formed by another guy with Vermont lineage, Robbie Mook, who ran Hillary Clinton's campaign, and his cohort, a friend of mine, Matt Rhodes, who ran Mitt Romney's campaign. And so they're providing political parties and campaigns of various sizes with some free consulting to make sure that they are guarded against some of this stuff.